Hi, I'm Chris from CKS, and today I'd like to talk with you about natural bristle brushes versus synthetic filament brushes. The manufacturers of these brushes market them for use with either acrylics or oils, and for an experienced painter, that is accurate. However, for beginning painters, there are considerations in you choosing which type of brush works best for you. Now, natural bristle, I feel, is best used for alkyds and oils. This is hog bristle. The best quality is known as Chungking bristle, and you will notice that these have what are called interlocking bristles. They're curved inward on the outer edges and straighter in the center. What that accomplishes is that it allows the brush head to pick up a large quantity of material. In addition to that, each individual little hair that is in this brush head has little tiny flags that come off the edges. You can't see them, they're microscopic, but they interlock together to form a network that allows you to pick up large quantities of paint. The problem with using a natural bristle brush for water-based material, and again, I'm only talking about hog bristle because there are natural hairs like pony and badger and sable and squirrel. Those work very well as watercolor brushes, but hog bristle, which is tough and durable and has enough spring in it to push heavier materials like alkyds and oils, doesn't work particularly well in water-based with water-based products such as acrylics or gouache or tempera. And the reason for that is that when the natural bristle becomes wet with water, it temporarily loses its shape. And most beginning painters need the maximum amount of control that they can gain. Now, if you are an experienced acrylic painter and your paintings are becoming too tight, you might consider using a natural bristle brush so that you can loosen up and lose some control. The only thing I would add to that is if you are going to use a natural bristle brush for water media, repeated use will eventually wash some of the natural oils out of the brush head. So I would recommend the frequent use of a brush conditioner to restore a natural bristle brush that is being used for water-based media. But for beginning painters, I would recommend using natural bristle for alkyds and oils. Now, synthetic filament brushes are made from petroleum. Some are very soft, like the synthetic white sable. Others are stiffer for pushing heavy acrylic gel mediums. You can, in fact, use a synthetic brush for oil. There's two things that are going to happen, though. One is that the filaments will stain very quickly. That's a cosmetic issue and not a performance issue. The other is, however, if you use a synthetic filament brush for alkyds or oils, do not leave your brushes standing in buckets of solvent like odorless mineral spirits or turpentine, because the synthetic filaments will become brittle rather quickly by doing that. Okay? But these work extraordinarily well for all types of water media. And there are different types of synthetic products out there. This is a synthetic white sable, as I said. There's white Taclon, golden Taclon, Rizlon, nylon. They're all basically made from petroleum byproducts. As I mentioned earlier, that the flagging in a natural bristle brush allows for you to be able to load the brush head with a large quantity of paint. How that is achieved with synthetic filament is by using what's called a polyfilament brush head. Cheap synthetic brushes, the diameter of the hairs is uniform, and that's not a very good situation. You can't see it, but the filaments in this brush head are actually different diameters. And what they're trying to do is replicate the flagging of a natural bristle brush so that this synthetic filament brush picks up a good load of paint. This is a polyfilament brush. It will give you a lot of material in the brush head so that you can cover broad areas or extend a long line with the use of a polyfilament brush head. And again, I use my brushes for cross purposes. I happen to use, in my underpaintings, which are acrylic, I'll use synthetic brushes, I'll use foam brushes, I'll use rollers, I'll use sponges, squeegees, even my hands sometimes. But when it comes time for me to do my oil painting over the top of it, I'm the type of painter that is a layer painter. I do a lot of glazing, anywhere from 40 to 60 glaze layers in my paintings. I personally like a Japanese style hake brush that has goat hair in it. It's very soft and it doesn't let hairs. I like that for applying my glazes. But when it comes time for me to do the fine line work in oil, I prefer a short handle synthetic brush. Okay? So what I'm saying to you is this. For beginners, stick with natural bristle for your oils and stick with synthetic for your water media, and you can't go wrong with that. Over time you will gain experience and you will be able to choose which of the brush styles and brush types best work for your purposes. Okay? I hope this has been helpful today, and until next time, keep on drawing and painting the world a better place. See ya.